There are phases in life when everything around you feels uncertain, not in one small area, but everywhere at once. Your plans begin to feel unclear, your emotions feel heavier than usual, and even the relationships or routines that once felt safe begin to feel unfamiliar and distant. During these periods, a quiet fear often rises inside the mind, telling you that something must be wrong with your life, that you are losing control, or that you are falling behind while others seem to move forward with clarity. But there is another possibility that most people never consider. Sometimes when nothing feels stable outside, it is not because your life is breaking apart, but because something deep inside you is slowly reorganizing itself in ways your conscious mind cannot yet understand. Human beings naturally seek stability because stability gives the brain a sense of safety, predictability, and identity. The mind builds comfort through patterns, routines, familiar relationships, and known expectations. These things quietly tell you who you are and where you belong. When these patterns begin to change or disappear, the brain often interprets it as danger, even when no real threat exists. This is why emotional and psychological growth often feels like an internal earthquake. It does not feel peaceful or inspiring in the beginning. It feels confusing, uncomfortable, and sometimes deeply lonely. The discomfort does not mean damage is happening. It often means your inner structure is being rebuilt, and rebuilding always feels unstable before it becomes strong. Most people imagine personal growth as a moment of clarity, excitement, or sudden motivation, but real psychological growth rarely arrives in such clear and comfortable ways. True growth usually begins when old ways of thinking stop working, while new understanding has not yet fully formed. You find yourself standing between two versions of your identity. One version is the person you have always known yourself to be, shaped by past experiences, past beliefs, and past emotional survival patterns. The other version is quietly forming beneath the surface, influenced by new awareness, deeper emotional understanding, and a changing sense of meaning. The space between these two versions often feels unstable because the mind does not like living without certainty. During these phases, something subtle but powerful begins to happen. You may notice that beliefs you once accepted without question begin to feel incomplete or outdated. Situations that once felt normal may begin to create emotional discomfort. You may find yourself pulling away from certain environments, conversations, or expectations that once felt natural to you. This is not rejection or failure. It is recognition. Your inner world is slowly updating its understanding of what feels honest, safe, and meaningful. But this update rarely happens gently because the human mind holds tightly to familiar patterns, even when those patterns quietly limit emotional growth. Instability also appears because identity is not something that changes instantly. Identity is built slowly over many years through repeated emotional experiences and learned survival strategies. When identity begins to shift, it creates a temporary feeling of emptiness because the old identity is losing its control while the new identity has not fully taken shape. Many people misinterpret this emotional emptiness as failure or being lost, but psychologically, it is often a sign that deeper emotional maturity is forming. Emotional maturity does not appear when everything feels certain and comfortable. It appears when you begin tolerating uncertainty without rushing to escape it, when you start observing your emotions instead of immediately reacting to them, and when you begin accepting that growth often requires leaving behind version of yourself that once felt necessary for survival. Another silent change that happens during unstable phases is the shift in how you understand connection and belonging. You may begin noticing that some conversations feel shallow, some environments feel draining, and some expectations feel disconnected from who you are becoming. This can create loneliness, not because you are truly alone, but because your emotional depth is changing faster than your surroundings. Psychological transformation often creates temporary isolation because inner growth changes what feels emotionally honest, and not every environment evolves at the same pace as your awareness. Confusion during these times is not a sign that you are moving in the wrong direction. Confusion is often a sign that your mind is learning to see complexity instead of simple answers. The brain prefers certainty because certainty reduces anxiety, but deeper wisdom grows when you allow yourself to sit with unanswered questions. The ability to remain present during uncertainty is one of the strongest signs of inner development, even though it rarely feels strong while you are experiencing it. Strength during transformation often feels quiet, invisible, and fragile, but it builds resilience that loud confidence can never create. There is also a natural emotional process that happens when people begin releasing old survival patterns. Many behaviors, reactions, and beliefs were originally created to protect you during earlier stages of life. They helped you navigate emotional pain, social pressure, or personal fear. But as you grow, these same patterns can begin limiting your ability to experience deeper authenticity and emotional freedom. Letting go of these patterns can feel like losing parts of yourself because, in many ways, you are. You are releasing emotional habits that once protected you, and that release naturally creates instability before it creates clarity. Life transformation is rarely dramatic from the outside. It is usually quiet and invisible. It happens in small shifts in how you think, how you react, how you understand pain, and how you define meaning. From the outside, your life may look uncertain or directionless, but inside, your mind is learning new emotional languages. It is learning patience where there was once urgency. It is learning reflection where there was once impulsive reaction. It is learning acceptance where there was once resistance. The most difficult part of inner transformation is that it does not follow a clear timeline. There is no schedule that tells you when clarity will arrive or when stability will return. This uncertainty can create fear because the mind wants guarantees before it allows relaxation. But transformation does not offer guarantees. It offers gradual understanding that often reveals itself only when you look back and realize how much has changed inside you without your full awareness. If you are living through a phase where nothing feels stable, where emotions feel heavy, where direction feels unclear, it does not automatically mean you are failing or losing control. It may mean you are in a rare psychological space where deeper identity reconstruction is taking place. These phases are uncomfortable, but they are also meaningful because they often create emotional depth, self-awareness, and inner strength that stable periods alone cannot develop. Sometimes the most important changes in life happen quietly, beneath your visible progress, beneath your daily routines, and beneath your conscious understanding. Just because you cannot see clear movement does not mean nothing is happening. Sometimes growth moves slowly so the mind and heart can adjust without breaking. You are not alone in feeling lost during these moments. Many people pass through similar silent transitions, even if they never speak about them openly. Feeling uncertain does not mean you are disconnected from your path. Sometimes uncertainty is simply the mind learning to release old maps before it is ready to draw new ones. And if your life feels unstable right now, it may not be a sign that everything is falling apart. It may be a quiet sign that something deeper inside you is learning how to stand in a new way, one that will not rely on temporary stability, but on a stronger and calmer understanding of yourself.